What up, everybody? So I've been just tweaking this team quite a bit. I started doing some more offline battles, and I honestly forgot just how many things I changed. So I got rid of Creamy, and then I replaced it with Weezing. I named him Saffron. He's holding the black sludge, and his ability is neutralizing gas. So the whole point of this Weezing is to best combat those Clefairies with Eviolites. Those things are annoying in this tier, and my previous team really struggled with them. And a lot of the matches that I lost usually consisted of Clefairies and me being either set up by one or just unable to break through its wall, because my only other wall that could really handle Clefairy is my Swampert, but the problem is it can Toxic Stall me since it has Magic Guard, so my Quagsire always goes down every single time, and there's nothing I can do. Not even Crash or Dasher, they weren't dealing enough damage to whittle them down, because again, they could either Toxic Stall me or just keep going for Moonblast and whittle me down that way, and they can use Soft Boiled or Wish or whatever shenanigans they do, and obviously Vaynes does not want to go against them. Daddy could kind of mess them up using Trick, give them a Choice Specs, and then probably, doing some other shenanigans to it, but still, it was kind of hard to do that since they usually swapped out on Daddy. Vaynes, of course, just can't do anything because it's a fighting type Pokemon. However, I did give it Poison Jab. It's not enough to guarantee a 2-hit KO, at least I don't think. If I remember the damage calcs, I think it was like 3 hits or something like that. I don't remember. But I gave it Poison Jab just in case if Saffron goes down or something. But Saffron really, I give it max special. Well, it's not max special attack. So I split the EVs between HP, defense, and special attack. So I give it a lot of special attack, and I might actually give it even more special attack and replace some of the defense EVs. I'll see kind of how I do it. And in order just to kind of like get as much damage as I can on those Clefairies. So a max special defense Clefairy, I cannot guarantee 3-hit KOs. I'm guaranteed 4-hit KOs, but 3 hits is just out of range, really. But it's fine. So what I have right here is a Haze, Taunt, Sludge Wave, and Will-O-Wisp. So I went Sludge Wave instead of Sludge Bomb just because it did a little bit more damage, and Will-O-Wisp is just for anything else really. But that's pretty much it for this updated team. It's just really these guys that were updated. Okay, so here we see a pretty interesting team. Silvally is still kind of an issue, and Ninjasks, I actually don't see too many Ninjasks. So I'm assuming he might lead out with that Rotom, try to get pivot damage. I could ideally switch into Jolteon and do the same. And that's maybe what I'll end up doing, to be honest. I could also just go into Daddy and Trick something. Or Vaynes and just get a knockoff off, really. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just go for Vaynes, go for a knockoff. If he goes into that Ninjask, that might be quite an issue. Okay, so he's gonna stay into Silvally. He's gonna have to swap on out of here. There's no way he's gonna stay in here unless he's gonna really risk an over prediction and go for the Stealth Rocks. I don't know if this team can get Stealth Rocks. I'm assuming it can. So I'm just going to go for a knockoff and assume maybe the Rotom comes in. No, he's just going to... Okay, so whatever. It's fine. So that was fine. Good play. The Rotom is going to come in. I'm going to go for the knockoff, get rid of its item, which would be really annoying. Oh, a heavy duty boost. So it doesn't really matter since I got rid of... So I got rid of hazards. That's the one thing about this team. So I don't rely on hazards too often, which is fine. I could send out... So you can go for a flying type move. I could send out... Crash? Maybe he goes for a Volt Switch so I can get a Volt Absorb. I don't think he might predict me to swap out. So okay, he's just going for the Air Slash. Never mind, he's just gonna stay in there. I can go for a Thunder. A Thunder really hurts everything on his team. So he might just stay in here thinking that he could take a Thunder, but I can also go for a Shadow Ball for just really good damage. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm gonna go for the Shadow Ball. That's gonna do quite a bit of damage. He's gonna go for the Toxic, which is fine. It would have been nice if I had Quick Feet, but nah, it's fine. So I'm gonna he could swap out into that Bouffalon, and if he does, that's a terrible thing to happen. So I'm gonna assume that he's gonna assume that I'm Choice Specs, which is true. I am Choice Specs. So I'm going to swap out into Vaynes. Let's see, is he gonna swap out? Yep, he's gonna swap out Bouffalon. Okay, I predicted that switch. That's perfect. Now I'm just gonna go for Drain Punch because I don't think this thing's gonna want to stay in here. He's probably gonna want to swap out. He's probably gonna go into that Toxicroak, which would be kind of terrible. So I could go for another knockoff, ideally. Don't want to go knockoff on a Toxicroak though. I don't know what items they usually carry, so it might be nice to get rid of whatever it is potentially carrying. I could also swap out. Well, yeah, I can go for a knockoff, get rid of its item. Oh, he's going for head charge. I should have gone for an attacking move. So it's gonna be banded. This thing is pretty fast. So I'm gonna go for Swampert since that was a pretty bad play on my end. I should have predicted something. I could go for Daddy. Head charge is head charge. Head charge is, I forget. Head charge is normal type of move, right? Which one's the rock type of move? Don't tell me it's head charge. I could swap out into Daddy, but you could predict that. So I could just swap out into Sanfran. He doesn't have a Clefairy, so I don't really mind if this thing takes too much damage. So he predicted that really well, unless he assumed the Jolteon would come in or something. So I'm just gonna go for a Sludge Wave. Maybe he goes into Toxicroak, so I could go for Will-O-Wisp. So he's just stay in there. Damn, this thing's actually a lot scarier than I anticipated it to be. So I'm just gonna swap out into Quagsire. I don't want to let Sanfran go down just yet, even though I don't think it's gonna be too useful. Yeah, Quagsire just eats those earthquakes up after the burn. So I'm just gonna go for a Scald here. He might swap out maybe into that Basculin, potentially. I don't really see it happening though. I think he might just let this thing go down. So it is gonna be the Rotom. So that Earth Power was terrible. That was the worst possible play here. So he might have Giga Drain, which if he has Giga Drain, that's actually really bad. So I'm gonna go into Veins, just let this thing go down. I think he's done enough. Oh, he's gonna go for the Toxic, but the Toxic's just gonna get rid of me. So that's fine. I'm gonna go into Crash. I am faster, so I could just go for the Pivot, Volt Switch, and get on out of here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I should be able to knock out Rotom. So yeah, so it goes down. I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna switch into maybe Daddy. I don't know what he's gonna want to switch into this thing. Man, that Boufflant. I really should have gone for the Dream Punch. Me not going for the Dream Punch was actually really huge. That might cost me the match, to be honest, because that really puts a lot of control in his hands. But it is burned, so maybe it's not. I could have had a better play, but overall, I don't think it's the worst case scenario since it is burned. Okay, so I'm gonna go for the Toxicroak. I'm gonna go for the Trick and just get rid of its. Okay, so I'm gonna give it Specs. Oh no, did they go for the Nasty Plot? That's even worse, dude. I'm gonna go for the Trick Room. He's gonna go for the Shadow Ball. That's gonna do a lot of damage. I'm gonna go for the Trick Room. Okay, that's perfect. All right, I'm gonna go for the Destiny Bond here. And so now it's gonna take me out. That's perfect. I could not have played that better. So I used my Daddy the exact way I wanted to use this thing, which was perfect. Now I'm gonna go back into Crash and then just go for the Volt Switch. So we're gonna send out this Boufflant. I kind of expected it. Oh, that was terrible on my end. I forgot the Trick Room's up. That was a bad play. I keep forgetting that Jolteon is not a good pivot when the Trick Room is up. So I'm gonna send out. So what is he gonna want to swap out into? He's not gonna use the Ninjask with the Basculin. I'm assuming maybe the Silvally. So if he does that, I'm gonna go into Swampert 2. That was a really bad play on my end. I'm not used to this Trick Room yet. Like I've only used this a couple times, so I'm still getting the hang of it. I just gotta remember not to swap in Jolteon when the Trick Room is up. So you guys are probably cringing at just watching me make that mistake. So I'm gonna go for the Toxic, just really whittle this thing down. He's going for a Flip Turn, which does a lot of damage with that crit though. That makes him swap out, right? Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go for the Toxic here too. Get rid of this, prevent this Ninja from setting it up. Or I can go for a Scald and hope for a burn. He might just go for a Protect, which wouldn't be the worst case. So I'm gonna go for Recover. He's probably gonna, okay, so he's not gonna go for the Protect. He's gonna go for the Acrobatics, which does quite a bit of damage. I don't know what item he could possibly be holding. I'm gonna go for the Scald. Maybe he's holding Lumberry, assuming he's gonna eat the berry and then, you know, go on from there. So he's gonna do quite a bit of damage. Acrobatics does 32%. I'm gonna go for the Recover here. I think that's probably my best bet. I need to save Quagsire. He kind of checks the rest of his team. I could let Sanfran go down. He doesn't really do too much, I don't think. I'm gonna go for another Recover, see what he's gonna want to do. I mean, speed is terrible because now this thing is super fast, but I think this base speed is still faster than my Jolteon. So I'm gonna go for the Toxic. So I'm gonna go for the Leech Life. So Toxic, I really wanted to get the burn, but I don't want to risk it. So I think Toxic is my best bet. Just really dwindle this thing down as much as I can, and I'm gonna go for the Scald here. I'm gonna keep going for the Acrobatics. So I'm gonna go for the Scald, get some damage off of him on him, but it does quite a bit. So I'm just going to press Recover. I think that's my best bet, and he's just not gonna be able to kill this thing, dude. Quagsire is a beast. And I'm surprised, like, I don't know, more people don't run him, but he doesn't have great attack output, but I mean overall he's still pretty good. Actually, yeah, he's still a really reliable mon to use. I'm gonna send out maybe Sanfran. I think Sanfran doesn't really do too much. I can probably get the burn on Silvally, but I'm gonna go for the Earth Power. He's probably gonna go for, yeah, Liquidation. That's fine. So I just get as much damage as I can on this Basculin. The Quagsire's kind of done his job. Maybe I'm gonna switch out into Sandfran, to be honest. Maybe preserve the Quagsire a little bit longer just in case. Go for the Liquidation, that's fine. This thing is just gonna be dwindling down. I'm gonna go into Crash. I'm gonna just go for Volt Switch. And okay, so he's faster than me, so he's Scarfed. So I'm sensing, yeah, he's Scarfed. How much is my speed on my Crash? 394, yeah, so this thing's Scarfed for sure, which is fine. That means it is faster than my Rapidash 2, so I'm just gonna go for the Recover since I kind of need Swampert 2 for that Silvally, and now I pretty much win this match. There's nothing he can do. I'm just gonna go for the, I could go for the Toxic. I'm just gonna go for the Scald. Just safe bet, Scald. I'm gonna resist it, that's fine, even though it's a crit, so I am in a really safe spot, and he gets burned, so that's perfect. So he quit, but you know what, overall, I won. So that was a good match, and I made a couple bad plays, but overall, I still managed to get the upper hand, and he played pretty well. My two biggest mistakes was not Drain Punching the Boufflant, but that was more just mind games, right? I think that one just came down to predictions or reads, whatever. But I think my biggest thing was Jolteon and that Trick Room. I didn't properly absorb the whole Trick Room being up and all that information and whatnot. So I could have played that better, but overall that was fun. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video whenever that is. So see ya.